People always ask me, where do you record your podcast at? At the crib, in my bed, on my phone, on Anchor. Anchor is free. It has creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. They distribute it to all major platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. I make money off my podcast with no minimum listenership. And it's everything that you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Black Girl Experience sent you. Welcome back to the Black Girl Experience. I'm your host, the High Priestess Queen. I just want to hop on here and make this episode really quick. And I am also trying to stuff a comb right now. Yes. But no, I wanted to come on here really quick and I want to talk about manipulation, but in a different way. So I actually just posted a YouTube video called Self-Sabotage, and I did my tarot card pull for today, and I wasn't even going to record it, but after the cards came out, I wanted to channel a deeper message and give it to the collective, so I did that. And as I was replaying the video, I hate when I go back and I watch videos that I make, or when I do podcast episodes and I go back and I listen to it and I'm like, damn, I should have said this. I missed this. Like, it's whatever come out in a moment, but I always be coming up with more ideas as I listen to it. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll just make an episode. So the cards that came out on the video were the Devil card, the Wheel of Fortune card, what else? The Moon card and the Eight of Swords. So I talked about how the Devil card represents addiction. It can be symbolic of addiction. So in your life, you could be dealing with an addiction to sex, to money, to drugs, to alcohol. You could be in an unhealthy relationship. You could be, dealing with toxic behaviors or toxic patterns in your life or whatever. But in the video, I was saying that these are your habits. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm saying these are your habits because with the Eight of Swords is really like self-sabotage energy. It's very victim mindset, victim mentality, woe is me type energy. So you're self-sabotaging yourself. You're manipulating yourself mentally and emotionally and possibly physically, depending on whatever your addictions are. You know what I'm saying? In regards to the Devil card. The Wheel of Fortune card, I was saying that, once you do some deep self-reflection and you do some shadow work and you really evaluate your life and what's going on in your life right now as far as relationships, bad habits, the things that are hindering you from leveling up or being successful in life, you have to sit back and take accountability for the role that you play in your life, in your relationships, in your world. You have to understand that you're a co-creator. So you have to focus on the things that you're doing to hold your own self back. You have to look in the mirror at yourself and not point the finger and not point the blame at other people. So, the Wheel of Fortune is about things, the tables turning, and about things working in your favor. You know what I'm saying? And about like success to come, and also good things are ahead in the future. However, you have to do that self-work to overcome your addictions or whatever is holding you back. Okay, that was followed by the Moon card. So I talked about how the moon can really trick us. The moon goes from full moon to a new moon. Sometimes it's light, sometimes it's dark, sometimes you can see the moon, sometimes you can't see it. That is symbolic of life. You know what I'm saying? Because we go through unforeseen circumstances, things come up, you know what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing of like being present and living in the now and just accepting, shit for what it is. We like to cling to the known. We like to know what's going to happen. We want to be 10 steps, but you can't. You got to understand that life, the life is unknown. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. So you have to really, you really have to learn to accept that. But I was saying that you're being mentally and emotionally manipulated by your addictions or whatever your toxic or unhealthy habits are. And I say you're being mentally and emotionally manipulated because the moon card is it's an emotional card. It deals with emotions. It deals with the divine feminine. It's Cancer energy. So it's about the emotions. The moon is symbolic of your emotions. So if you are caught up in bad habits, toxic relationships, or addictions, you're being emotionally manipulated by those things. To stay in them, to get deeper in, you're emotionally tied to it. I said that you are being mentally manipulated by it as well because of the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is about communication, and it's about, the mental aspect of things. So it's the mental enslavement for me. It's the self-sabotage for me. You're not going to get to that Wheel of Fortune energy if you're stuck in your devil energy. If you stay on demon time, if you stay in these bad habits, if you keep doing the things that you've been doing, you're mentally and emotionally manipulating yourself, on top of the fact that you're sabotaging yourself. You're sabotaging your success. You're sabotaging moving forward in life. You're sabotaging all of the good things that are to come. You're sabotaging the Wheel of Fortune energy by staying in your devil energy, by staying in your lower self, by not doing the shadow work, by not doing the things that you need to do. So you're mentally and emotionally manipulating yourself. You got to wake up. You got to take accountability. You got to do the work. You know what I'm saying? So I had to come on here and just say that. I don't even know how long this episode is going to be, but when I pull these cards, sometimes I pull them for the collective and sometimes I pull them for myself. But a lot of times, I'm 95% of the time, the messages resonate with me. And that's also why it's so easy to channel the energy. That's why it's so easy to give a message, because it resonates with me. Because I feel it. Because I'm going through it too. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's so easy to channel it. But I definitely just wanted to just come back on here and just say, if you are going through something right now, or you realize or recognize, dang, I am caught up in unhealthy, attachments or situations or whatever, or I'm not really dealing with my problem. I'm using certain things to cope. I'm, dealing with certain people to be a distraction from the true problems in my life. So if that is you have to understand that, this is mental enslavement. You're mentally attached to whatever your coping mechanisms are. Whatever your devil energy is, your demon time, whatever you be on, you're mentally attached to that. You're emotionally attached to that. That's why it's so hard to let go. And when you're operating from your lower self, you operate in those lower frequencies, doing those lower vibrational things. But you have to overcome that. You have to be mentally disciplined. You have to be mentally strong. You have to want to change. You know what I'm saying? And you got to call yourself out. You got to be accountable. You got to be like, I'm not doing this shit no more. I'm going to change. I want to change. I want to be better. It's going to be hard to let that shit go, but you have to let it go. And that's why it's so deep to be to mentally and emotionally manipulate yourself is crazy. Because you think about how other people manipulate people. You know what I'm saying? You ever dealt with a manipulator before? Dang, this nigga's a manipulator. This nigga know how to play on my feelings. He know how to press my buttons. You know how to do that to yourself. And it's very sick when you're attached to some shit. When you're attached to some shit. It's one thing to be physically attached, but it's another thing to be emotionally attached. That's why they say, what's worse? When they ask about cheating, they be like, would you rather your man fuck another woman, or would you want him to be emotionally attached to her? Emotionally attached is way worse than being physically attached. Because number one, most times men could just have sex with women and just go on about their lives. You know what I'm saying? But when you're emotionally attached to something, there's a deep bond there. Emotional attachment is much harder to release than a physical one. Because physical is easy. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's easy when you get into relationships with people or situationships and it's like, oh, we just fucking. Yeah, that's cool. It's easy to just fuck somebody. But when you got to get emotional with somebody and really express your deepest, most vulnerable parts of yourself, that's hard to do. You're afraid to do that. You don't want people to manipulate you or play on your feelings or use you or abuse you. You know what I'm saying? Shit gets deep when you're emotionally invested. So think about the things that you are attached to, this devil energy, whatever you're addicted to. Think about what kind of hold it has over you, what kind of control it has over you. You're mentally and emotionally manipulating yourself to fuck with this shit. To be tied to this shit. You know what I'm saying? I was talking about the Eight of Swords card. On the original Eight of Swords card, it's a person wrapped up like in ropes. They tied up in ropes and they standing in between all of these swords. The ropes are not tied to them tightly. They could easily walk away. I don't think their feet were bound. Like you could just slip your hands out. That's what I'm saying. It's self-sabotage. You think you can't see your way out, but it's you that got yourself in there and you can free yourself. You can free yourself. But it's going to take a lot to emotionally free yourself. It's going to take a lot to mentally free yourself from these chains. So you need to just get clear on what's going on in your life. You know, I was sitting here today like it's Saturday. I'm bored. I'm in the crib. I don't have nothing to do. I was literally like, dang, what could I do? Who could I call? What can I get into? And I'm like, bro, this is time to sit and focus. Something needs to be done. There's some type of work that could be done. Of course, there's some stuff that I could do creatively, but what you got going on mentally? What you got going on as far as shadow work? You know what I'm saying? Pretty sure you've been triggered at some point over these past couple of days. It was just a full moon yesterday. You ain't been triggered emotionally by nothing. It ain't nothing that you need to work out within. Hashtag Heal Girl Summer. There's something you could be doing. This is your higher self talking to you. That's what I'm saying. When you don't want to deal with the shit, you want to go out and be distracted. You want to get into your devil card energy. You want to go out and drink. You want to go out and smoke. You want to go out and have sex. You want to call up that person that you shouldn't be dealing with no more. You want to continuously put yourself in these cycles and not, you know what I'm saying? And then you want to sit there and complain about your life, but you're the one that keeps engaging in the energy. You keep doing the things. So you have to take accountability. I need to come out with these accountability worksheets and pass them bitches out and give it to myself first. Don't get it twisted. I'm going to give myself an accountability worksheet as well. But you got to see yourself out of that. You got to see yourself out of that energy. If you want to get to that Wheel of Fortune energy, you got to do the work to get out of that. The table's not just going to turn on their own. You got to do the work to turn the tables. You got to stop being a victim. You got to get out of that mindset. You got to stop emotionally and mentally manipulating yourself to be in this toxic energy. You know what I'm saying? How can you expect to move on from something when you keep playing back the same shit? You want to get past your ex, you want to move on, but you still looking at their page. You still looking at the text message thread. You still, you know what I'm saying? You still going, how are you going to move forward when you keep going back? So deal with what's truly going on. Understand that you're being a victim. Stop, throw that victim card out, bro. Throw the victim card away. Stop playing that bitch. You done played it enough. You done played your victim card out. We're not being victims no more. In order to be victorious, you got to stop being a victim. Victims are not victorious. Because you're going to play that role like, oh no. It's going to always be an excuse. So stop making excuses and start executing. Period. So I just had to come on there and share that with y'all real quick about manipulation, about manipulating yourself. You know what I'm saying? Devil card, moon card, Eight of Swords. That's self-manipulation. Stop, it's already, other people are already going to try to manipulate you. Other niggas got that in the bag. Niggas can't wait to manipulate you. Don't manipulate yourself. Period. So go watch my YouTube video I just dropped. More insight into the cars. But this is actually more insight than what I gave on the video, I feel like. But go watch the video. Follow me on Instagram at High Priestess Queen. You can follow me on Twitter at Healing My Homie. Subscribe to the podcast. Rate it 5 stars. Leave a review on why you love the Black Girl Experience. That's all I got for y'all. I'm out.